are going to solve different problems, if we are going to be the kind of people who are solving different problems than they solved in the Bronze Age, we've got to start asking different questions. When you think about it, a lot of the people that you know are working on the same kind of issues, just different technology, but the same kind of issues that people worked on thousands of years ago. It's time for a paradigm shift. It's time to do it differently. It's time to think about things differently. And what that means is not thinking about the same thing just with different nouns. People go, I used to go to that church where all they talked about was going to heaven, and I'm sick of that. So now I go to this church and all they talk about is going into the oneness. So much better. Is it? Any different? I went to that church and they're so closed-minded over there. In fact, I hate those people who are so closed-minded. Wait a minute. Because I got to tell you, I have been to traditional churches where you go in and you say, I'm just trying to figure out my relationship with God, and they will give you a hug and maybe ask you if you want some potato salad later. And I've been to so-called progressive churches where if you don't face the four directions just right or whatever it is, they tell you you're no good. We've got to do more than change the nouns. Because here's the thing, it's not ever about the nouns, it's about the verbs. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do differently with what God has given you? And that's the big reversal. Instead of a God that's somewhere far away, what if miracles are here, imminent in fact? What if God is not limited, but in fact infinite? How does that change? People ask me about how prosperity works. There's a lot to say. Louise Hayes made a career out of it. Catherine Ponder has made a career out of it. Charles Fillmore has a great book called Prosperity, strangely enough. You ought to read it. It's a great book. But there's a lot in there. How do I prosper, people ask me. And there's a lot of little things you can do. You cannot prosper if you don't tithe. You cannot prosper if you don't forgive. You cannot prosper if you don't know how to smile and laugh out loud. You cannot prosper if blah, 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 blah. There's a lot. But if I was going to give you the fortune cookie moment of that, the key to the whole thing, as I understand it, it's this. Imagine yourself in an infinite place. That's it. Imagine yourself in an infinite place. Because if you are in an infinite place, things like being a giving person become easier. It's easier to forgive somebody if you realize it's no skin off my nose to let you go, to let you be happy. If you are in an infinite place, you stop worrying about the silly things that we don't need to worry about. Can you imagine going, gosh, if only I had more gravity? Because I got to do some walking around and I don't want to spin off into space later on. I got to budget my gravity. It doesn't work that way, does it? It's a silly thing because gravity is a property of mass. It just happens. I'm here to tell you that that's how we're supposed to think about God. Just as gravity is a property of mass, prosperity is a property of you being a child of God. It's not getting it, it's what you do with it. That is a profoundly different idea. What do you do with what God gave you? Instead of how do I get more of what is infinite? It's a silly thing. And it changes everything to think about just a little bit differently. What do you do with infinity? That's the question.